Water as a natural resource is perhaps the most important natural resource. It sustains ecosystems, drives the economy, and is absolutely essential for human lives. When you come to think of it, about 71% of the surface of the earth is covered by water, but only about 3% is fit for human consumption as fresh water. With the increasing population and the impending global warming, the stress on this available fresh water is also increasing. Welcome viewers to another episode of Let's Talk NRM, our monthly program on natural resource management. Today, we talk about managing water resources and particularly watersheds. This comes to you from the community-led landscape management project under the Meghalaya Basin Management Agency. Our guest today and expert is Mr. Aibanchangain Swear, Director, MBDA. In the management of water resources, one of the prime parts of water management is managing watersheds. Yeah. And the importance of managing it, taking care for it, can never be overemphasized. Would you, to start off with, explain to our viewers what is a watershed?
Meghalaya is a state that has been endowed with a huge amount of natural resources.
Right.
And of all these natural resources that we have, water is the only natural resources that is renewable. Others, whether it's minerals or other resources, they just come and they stay there and we can possibly exhaust them. But water, which we get around 64 billion cubic meters of water in a year through our rainfall. And out of the 64 billion cubic meters, we use probably about 5%. And the other just goes off as surface runoff.
Right.
We have about 2,776 micro watersheds across the state. And out of these 2,776 micro watersheds, 50% of them can be treated.
Okay.
Can be treated for agriculture and other allied uses. In the state of our Meghalaya, most of the watersheds have degraded over many years. But we still have, and we're working a lot on these watersheds. We have taken various projects based on watersheds, but villages are not made that way. Right. Because it's all a geographical, and our land holding system, our demarcation of boundaries does not follow the watershed boundary. Right. But as per instructions from Government of India, then the watershed has become a unit for development purposes.
When you talk about management and maintaining watersheds, it cannot be a standalone kind of a thought process. Along with that comes forest cover management, it comes from topsoil management. All of that is together because they are inextricably linked. So how is this really done when government plans the different projects? How are all of these aspects put together?
Among the watersheds that we have, not all watersheds have the same characteristic. They differ in the amount of rainfall, they differ in the type of soil that we have, they differ in the altitude. They differ in the times of the kind of species that grows there. To treat this, we have a system which is called a ridge to valley approach.
Right.
Okay. So where we treat a watershed, the first step is to treat the top of the ridge line. Whatever waterfalls come is absorbed into the soil and comes out at the valley bottom or in the sides in the form of springs. That's where it comes. So watershed now, how do we ensure that the water goes? How do we treat that? First of all, in our state, where 95% of the land belongs to the communities.
Right.
It is the responsibility of the community to take care of the respective watersheds.
So what about the community? Ultimately, it is the community who's going to use these watersheds. Yeah. How about training them, telling them about the do's and don'ts in the management of watersheds?
Our tribal community, as such, are very well versed with living with nature. And over the centuries, we have developed certain indigenous knowledges how to maintain our environment. Unless and until the communities are empowered to make a decision on how to take care of their own lands, of their own agricultural land, the forest land, no amount of training or no amount of education can help. The program itself has made in such a way where the communities and the landowners are an integral part from planning the project. That has really benefited our communities and enabled them to stand on own feet even after the completion of the project. Fortunately, in the watershed sector, I can say that a vast majority of watersheds have always been successful because it's the ownership, the decision making, as well as the post-project management
Is all on the
is
community.
all on the community.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
one plus point here is that in Meghalaya, because we own, the communities own the land, so they have a say in whatever
Absolutely.
decisions to be made.
Right. Tell the viewers, what are the different kinds of watersheds through which the management can be done, as you were saying, right from the top of the slope
The ridge.
up to the lowest level. What are the different ways that this watershed management is done?
Let's just give me an analogy.
Right.
All of us get a salary, at the end of the month. Okay? We get a salary for the work we have done.
Right.
Now, that salary for some people, it finishes in 5 days. For some people, it finishes in 15 days. For other people, it lasts till just the end of the month. And for some people, he still has something saved
Right.
after the end of the month. In a watershed, it's like the same thing. When the water falls, okay, a huge water falls, it takes a long time for that water from that ridge line to reach the bottom.
Right.
If the water takes just a few hours to reach from the top of the ridge line to this bottom of the line, it means that there's no water has been saved. But if the water takes time to come from there to reach this outlet here, which means that all along the line, you have been able to use that water for some beneficial purpose.
Right.
Until it leaves that
Okay.
it leaves the mouth of the watershed. So basically, watershed management is how do I slow down that water when it falls from the ridgeline? How many days it should take, or how many weeks it should take for me to reach this bottom line?
Okay.
And in the meantime, what are the activities I can
That
take?
can be done.
You see,
Right.
water is life. We have the called contour trenching.
Right.
Small trenches are dug and which fills up during the heavy rain, and it allows water to seep directly into the soil, thereby recharging the aquifers, and then it comes out in the form of springs. Then we have another system where we have dugout ponds. In our state, we have 6 months of rainfall and 6 months of dry season.
Right.
How do we manage the dry season?
Exactly.
No?
Yeah.
So if we are able to harvest and store this water, so we will have enough water to last us for the next season. So creation, plantation, doing this bench terracing, contour bunding, contour trenching, construction of retaining walls, check dams. In Meghalaya, where we have abundance of hardworking young people, and now through the Meghalaya Basin Development Authority, we have created a large group of village community facilitators. We've got various levels of highly trained young professionals who are working in this area. And over the next year, we hope that with the advent of more projects, our communities will really benefit. Yeah.
So, what are the tangible benefits to the community and the environment by this practice of watershed management? And also tell us at least one success story from Meghalaya.
Water is life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And wherever there is water, there is scope for taking up multiple livelihood activities. Having a good watershed catchment area, which means that you have an assured
Water supply.
which means that you can go in for multiple crop rotation, and with add-ons by giving them value addition.
Right.
Which will make our watershed community highly productive. Not the availability of water, which can be used for our livestock, which can be used for our fisheries, okay, which can be used for various recreational purposes, is something that we all know. The potential that it could provide to a rural community. Because of the success of this kind of approach, more and more people from the urban area are drifting towards the rural areas wherever there is water. So basically the benefits from a watershed is, the first thing is water. Second thing is soil erosion is under control.
Right.
Which means siltation of your lakes, siltation of your dams, siltation of your ponds is taken care of. Flora and fauna grows very well because they are assured of the protection that they get.
Absolutely.
They are assured. From all perspective, there is a lot of benefits that we are generating through the when a watershed is successfully implemented.
Tell us a success story.
Let us look at one place which all of us have seen has been very dry, which everybody knows, especially our viewers say,
Cherrapunji.
Sora has been one of the dry space. Till about 10 years ago, we had hardly had any hotels in Sora. Why? Because there was no water.
No water.
There was no water. Then when we took up various watershed projects, various water harvesting projects, there's a small, I'll just say, there is a small little spring on the way to Danchaland Falls. It was giving, 5 liters a minute? But after we did these interventions, it is giving us a lot more. Now that water is being sold to all these households. A lot of homestays have come up.
Right.
Why? Basically because the water is there.
Available.
So this is, in a way, is another outcome of the availability of water leading to other kinds of
And giving employment.
creating employment and basically making us a state of producers rather than just being a state of consumers.
Wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much. I'm sure the listeners will benefit a lot. The viewers will benefit a
I
lot.
hope so.
And thank you so much for giving these insights into what is happening with respect to watershed management. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was great to share these experiences, and I hope it'll benefit.
Every water body has a watershed through which the water finally flows into the water body. Management of this water through the stages is what is essential. Management in terms of the quality, the quantity, and the usability. Once that can be done, the overall flora and fauna of the region is going to improve, and therefore the economy of the region is going to improve. All of this was adequately covered in today's episode of Let's Talk NRM. Join us again next month for another episode of Let's Talk NRM.